Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Chosen Being, your sacred space for spiritual truth, healing, and transformation. Today, we dive deep into something incredibly powerful and personal. 7 spiritual messages for those breaking generational cycles. If you're here, it's not by accident. You are likely the one in your family chosen to end patterns of pain, silence, trauma, or limitation that have been passed down for generations. This path is sacred, but it is also heavy. So today, let's walk together through 7 soul messages, meant just for you, the cycle breaker, the light bearer. Let's begin. You were chosen for a reason, and it wasn't random from childhood. You may have felt different, more sensitive, more intuitive, more aware of things others ignored. Maybe you asked deep questions when everyone around you preferred to stay silent. Maybe you felt the weight of your family's unspoken pain. I remember as a child I would often sense tension in the room before anyone even spoke. When relatives argued or held grudges, I felt it deeply in my body. While others moved on, I carried it within me. At the time, I thought something was wrong with me, but I now realize it was my soul recognizing what needed to be healed. Being chosen doesn't mean being perfect. It means being awake. It means that your soul volunteered to be the bridge between what has been and what could be. This awareness is your first empowerment. Breaking the pattern starts with facing the pain cycles. Like addiction, emotional neglect, control, or silence are not broken through denial. They're broken through truth, and truth can be painful. You may have had to question beliefs you were raised with. You may have had to set boundaries that made you the black sheep. You may have had to walk away from certain family dynamics just to breathe again. I recall one of the hardest things I ever did was to say no to a family gathering where I knew I would be gaslighted. I was filled with guilt, but that boundary saved my energy and sanity. That act of self-love created space for healing. Pain is not punishment, it's purification, and your willingness to feel what others avoided is a sacred act of healing, not just for you, but for generations before and after you soon. Your triggers are sacred. Messages triggers can be confusing. Why does a certain tone of voice make you flinch? Why does rejection feel unbearable? Why does silence feel like abandonment? These are not signs of weakness. They are messengers. Triggers are unresolved emotional wounds calling out for attention. For example, every time someone dismissed my feelings, I would shut down. I later realized it mirrored the emotional invalidation I received growing up. But instead of blaming others, I began to sit with my trigger. I asked, what is this trying to teach me? Through journaling, therapy, and meditation, I began to parent my inner child. I began to validate myself. Over time, the trigger softened, and that healing became my superpower. You're not meant to fix everyone. Just heal yourself first. Many cycle breakers become caretakers. We want to help our parents, siblings, friends. We want to drag everyone into the light with us, but that's not our job. It took me years to understand that healing is not something you can do for others. You can only inspire them by living your truth. When I started speaking my truth, some people distanced themselves, and it hurt. But I kept going. A year later, some of those same people began asking me how I found peace. Some even began their own healing journey. Heal yourself, and your energy will speak louder than your words. Remember, even flowers bloom quietly. Ancestral support is always with you. You are not doing this alone. Your ancestors, especially those who were silenced, oppressed, or wounded, are cheering for you in the spirit realm. Sometimes during meditation or prayer, I feel their presence. It might be a chill down my spine, a tear for no reason, or a feather showing up out of nowhere. These are signs that your healing journey is waking up generations of your bloodline. One night, while crying during a full moon, I whispered, I don't know if I'm strong enough. That night I dreamt of my grandmother holding me and saying, "You are doing what I never could." That was a turning point. Since then, I light a candle for my ancestors every week. I speak to them, I honor them, and I remind myself, I am not breaking the cycle alone. I am completing their prayers. Isolation is temporary. Your soul family is real. Walking the path of healing often feels lonely. You might feel misunderstood, alienated, or even mocked. But isolation is part of the process. It creates a sacred space for self-discovery. And in time, you will attract your soul family, those who see you, honor your path, and walk beside you. When I left certain toxic circles, I spent months in solitude. But during that time, I discovered spiritual communities online. I connected with others through healing workshops. Today, I have a small but powerful tribe of kindred souls who lift me up. So if you're feeling alone, keep going. The right souls will find you when you stop dimming your light for the wrong ones. Your healing will echo for generations. Every time you choose kindness over cruelty, truth over silence, love over fear, you are planting seeds that will blossom in your children, your community, and your legacy. I recently had a conversation with my young nephew. He said, "I love talking to you because you always listen." That moment showed me that the emotional literacy I fought so hard to learn is already reaching the next generation. You may not see all the fruits of your labor, but your healing is creating ripple effects beyond your imagination. You are not just breaking chains, you are building bridges. To the brave soul reading this, thank you for doing the work. Thank you for choosing healing over harm, awareness over numbness, and love over legacy trauma. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are not wrong for walking away. You are not alone on this path. You are a chosen being, and your light is changing everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message if it touched your heart. Let us know in the comments which message spoke to your soul today. Until next time, keep healing, keep rising, and never forget, you are the prayer your ancestors once whispered. Namaste.